allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the list is audience citizens. Anybody here from the audience like to speak? Please stand and announce your name and your address, please.
Gail Lemire, 102 Wildermere Road. First, thank you to the commissioners who volunteer on. I've been on commissions and appreciate your time and energy and effort on behalf of our community. So I'm here to speak about two intersections on the Berlin Turnpike, which I'm concerned about. You probably know more about them and have more information than I do, but it's of course, Middletown Road and the Berlin Turnpike. I don't know if anything can be done. It's a state road. I don't know how much influence or power or whatever you have, but I've witnessed accidents there. I've almost been in accidents there trying to cross over to the Berlin Turnpike because unfortunately people speed and people use red lights. So I don't know what, if anything, can be done. And I don't know if having any kind of, community input or petition, or if you have to go to the state or whatever, any way that we as a community can help support you to make that, if there's any opportunity to make that a safer intersection. And the second one is Meadow Lane onto the Turnpike heading north. I'm not sure why that is allowed to go north from Meadow Lane onto the Turnpike, because that's a very dangerous intersection. Also, I've lived here about 25 years now. I've witnessed accidents on that as well, and have avoided them, fortunately. So, yeah, thank you. And, whatever can do, it's appreciated.
Appreciate your input on that. Anybody else? Please state your name.
Sure. My name's Ron Philipek, 136 Carriage Drive. So I guess what spurred me to come tonight is kind of on the same topic. Late last week, I was driving down south on the Berlin Turnpike. It stopped at a red light. A vehicle was crossing the road at the intersection with the green light to turn into the northbound lanes. And as he started to enter the intersection, fortunately, he stopped just prior to entering the travel lane and the southbound lane, because a truck carrying construction debris just blew through the intersection, never even slowed down, followed by a car who followed him through the red light, followed by a van who followed the other two vehicles through a red light. So we were like basically inches from a huge accident.
Was this Middletown Road? Were you talking about Middletown Road?
No, it was South Middletown Road. It was one of the intersections south of Middletown Road.
Oh, okay.
So I understand we had an accident on Middletown Road earlier this week too.
Yep.
This was fortunately not an accident, because all those vehicles were moving at speed. And I'm sure that truck with the construction debris, like a dump truck, was not going to be able to stop. But that dump or the vehicle that pulled into Farmington Avenue, I know I bicycle it, drive it. People regularly run a red light on Farmington Avenue, whether there are pedestrians in pedestrian walkways trying to cross. I've seen people run through red lights there. Today, just driving north to drive into the Home Depot from Middletown Road, I saw 4 cars at 3 intersections run red lights, not yellow, just red. I know that there are towns around us that are starting to implement speed cameras, red light cameras, other items. And I was wondering what our position is on that, to see if we can get something to do, because these are just accidents waiting to happen.
Our traffic enforcement officer is Officer Bobach, Tom Bobach. He works with the state for all the traffic situation, as far as that's concerned. And we can give you some input as to the situation as far as how egregious these red light people, they're running red lights and everything else. And there have been other towns that have implemented traffic cameras. That would be a decision that the town citizens would have to make collectively. Now, as you know, we have a flock camera system, which is completely different than that. It's simply for locating cars, whether it's a stolen car or somebody who's lost. We had a senior citizen, it's in our report from last month, that actually was lost and was found on Britain Road. And we actually, our officers went and found him. He just didn't know where he was. He was completely lost. So we do have those camera systems, but to cross over to an enforcement camera system is another animal altogether. I don't know. If that would Mark would like to comment.
Well, I will start by speaking to the Berlin Turnpike issue. State is in the midst of a complete traffic light upgrade in our town. And part of the problem with the Berlin Turnpike is that it's a 50-mile-an-hour speed. And the way the lights sequence, they can't be adjusted because there's such old technology. So Newington, the state has already replaced them all in Newington, and they're working their way down the turnpike. So once they get Berlin done, they can then retime the lights so that, and I think the plan of the DOT is to have 4-way reds for a period of a couple of seconds to give those vehicles that are doing 50 miles an hour time to stop, and the ones that are too close to the intersection that can't stop, time to be clear before opposing traffic gets a green light and will enter out into the turn. So that's part of the state's whole process. As far as enforcement cameras, the state is not going to, they've already told us this, they will not let us do anything on the turnpike until after they've done all of their upgrades, and then do an analysis of what, mitigation that is created for camera, for the red light issues.
Do they have a time frame on that?
The construction is ongoing. They're working every day out there. They've got a subcontractor.
Yeah.
Ferguson Electric but they've been drilling those big,
Yeah.
It's gonna take a while. It'll take a while.
Yeah.
The intersection at Meadow is actually an interesting intersection. Years and years ago, when I was in traffic, the state did a traffic study of the Berlin Turnpike and had a plan to redo a lot of those intersections at Meadow. And one of the reasons they talked about closing off some of those gaps in the median where cars could make U-turns. And one of the reasons they couldn't close that gap is because of Peterbilt, because the trucks need to be able to turn left and they can't make a U-turn at an intersection. They're too large. So that's why they have to leave the gap open. Now, why do they allow cars to go from Meadow straight across to the northbound side is another issue. And they do allow that at this time. And the state is very good. One thing that they do pretty well is they do an analysis of all the state roads every certain amount of years. And I think it's 3 years or something. They do a traffic study and they also do a crash analysis study. And so a couple of our big intersections for crashes, one is at 5 and Deming, and they've made some changes to the light sequencing over there to try and compensate for that, because we find that the turn lanes were too short. And everybody's trying to run the turn lanes. And that's been causing some accidents. So that's been improved recently. But like Lieutenant was saying, with the new sequencing, they'll be able to sequence the traffic signals so that they work together kind of instead of against each other. So we're hoping that helps a little bit. We do enforcement. Unfortunately, we're limited as to the amount of people we have. I can tell you they were out there tonight. I heard them stop cars at the beginning of the shift. And then we had a crash, a couple other calls come in, and then they all got tied up on those. So unfortunately, those are the kind of things that happened. But I do agree, it's a problem just not in our town and around the entire state of reckless and careless driving. And that's something that kind of got worse through COVID and has never really readjusted itself after that. So, yeah, that's a big problem.
25% of all of our car stops last.
Right.
25, so the officers are out there looking.
Oh, yeah.
So is Farmington Avenue considered a state road also, or is that under our control?
Farmington has a state road.
That's a state road.
So they would have to do the same thing. You could probably make a recommendation or a request, but they would have to approve it.
Right. And basically what they've said is even after they readjust all these new signal lights, they're not even going to entertain the idea of camera systems or anything going on for about a year after that. Because they have to do an analysis of how those intersections are operating. And the other problem we have is putting up, let's say, speed cameras, is that you have to be able to prove that they're not going to affect disappropriately any segment of the population that doesn't compare with the population of this town, which is almost impossible because most of the people on the turnpike are transients. They don't live in Berlin, they're just passing through. And it makes it very difficult for us ever to really be able to show that it's not going to affect a certain percentage of the population disproportionately. So that's going to be one of the big challenges for us.
And if we move it forward, if all this that passes, then we have to create town ordinance too, correct?
Well, I think actually, I don't think we have, ultimately, it's a town
Town council
council.
would have to.
They have to, there's an enabling statute which allows, which could allow the town to pass an ordinance, and then we'd have to go to DOT and set up a plan and all that, but obviously that's, step 54 and, step 1, and we're not even anywhere there, and we don't even know if there's any appetite, amongst the town council and the mayor, obviously. So that's not really within our jurisdiction at all. We, even if we're poor, and frankly, I have reservations about it, but at the same time, it's just, we haven't gone through the thought process, frankly.
I contacted the mayor, some other people. They said that this was the group that would have to make the original recommendation. Is that true?
We may make a recommendation. Yeah, I mean, they were gonna look to us for guidance, but it's the town council ultimately that has to authorize. They have to pass an ordinance.
But even prior to that, we need to get the state needs to update all the equipment.
Exactly.
And then have it that time period of
Right.
assessing if it's in sync and actually doing what it needs to do.
2 years ago, we looked into the beginning of these traffic cameras that you're seeing advertised in Hearst Media Group about how all these little towns are making millions of dollars on these $50 fines and all. But when we started looking into it and the commission started looking into it, because they're the local traffic authority, Officer Bobach, who's in touch with DOT almost every other day. One of the big things was the fact that the areas that we're looking at are controlled by the state, and they said, well, we'll come back in 3 years. So
Right.
we're in year 2 now to come back in
Yeah,
3 years,
yeah.
and that project on the turnpike is not moving as fast as we would like it to move. But and the other thing is that there's a cost factor for those red light cameras. Your traffic signals are about $83,000 a signal, so that's going to be a cost factor too that the town would have to look into.
And if I remember correctly, Tom presented this in like February of 24.
Yeah,
And so if you went back into the old YouTube,
minutes.
the minutes or the YouTube videos, he did a great job presenting kind of all of this information in February. Pretty sure it was February of 24.
Yeah, it was. It was more than a year ago.
It's also a manpower issue for the police department because you're basically going to have, and some of the bigger departments have like 2 officers dedicated to doing nothing but reviewing the violations because they all have to be approved by a police officer before a violation can be sent out. And for us,
Right.
it would probably involve 1 full-time officer to do nothing but screen those. So it's not as easy as it seems just to put the cameras up.
Yeah, and then the
They
other
don't
issue
just send
is
tickets. That's not how
you
it
have to
works.
create a
Hearing
Hearing board.
process.
hearing process, which would be paid employees that have to hear appeals, and there's gonna be the first one. But either way, that's not the immediate solution, because even if we were to say we want it, by the time we got it would be a year and a half from now. So we need something now, right? And I want to echo your sentiment that the Berlin Turnpike, like with the red light running and the chaotic driving, is a bit of a mess. Going to Sage, going down Worthington Ridge, and I turn left to go onto the turnpike. I know that even when the light turns green, I wait. I count 1, 2. Oh, there it goes. Now I'm good. Wait, look again. Like I stop in the middle of the intersection, even though it's green, just because I have kids in the car and I don't want to get hurt or hurt them. So I hear you. I see it as well. You have that Worthington Ridge, you have Middletown Road.
Orchard
and then,
Road.
Orchard Road, and then Deming as well. Like I think you brought up, it's a little bit of a mess. I can say, I've been on the commission, I don't know, about a year now, a year. The officers in this department have stepped it up. I don't know if you see them stopping cars, but we know they're stopping cars because when we start seeing more complaints come in, the people are upset that they got tickets. And then the numbers that we see, that's been probably a 200% increase from a year ago. So they are doing well, but obviously that doesn't satisfy the issue now. And in the room, we have Lieutenant Martin, who's in charge of patrol. We have the chief, the deputy chief. So I know they already are, but to the extent possible, gentlemen, please ask the patrols to step it up before, hopefully nobody gets hurt.
Our personnel Farmington Avenue. I don't even try and flow with the traffic. I cross intersections as a pedestrian. And people have run the red lights when I'm in the middle of the walkways.
You had an issue at Kensington Market there crossing.
Kensington Market is one, up by, farther east there, where you're going up towards,
Stop and shop.
Stop and Shop.
There's a lot of kids there too.
Also, you know, when you're going up,
This area.
Oh, so
towards.
Webster
Square Road.
That's a horrible, one. People- and unfortunately, that's two straightaways on either side of that. And people don't stop at that intersection. Ever. So, it's just like, I do the
with,
same thing on a bicycle when I'm one. I've had people pull out, go on a right hand turn where there's no right hand turn by Kensington Market while I was in the intersection.
I will tell you this, where the firehouse is on Worthington Ridge, the officer sits there often. And you can always tell, at one time, a guy was going through a red light, turned, saw the cop there, slammed on the brakes, and the car went, "Arr!" and landed sideways in the middle of the intersection, and then like dust cloud followed him after. And the officer stopped him, so, that was hilarious and sad at the same time, but, proactive patrol and omnipresence is a good deterrent, so.
It used to be when you saw a police officer in a marked police car or whatever, and everybody else was the cops are, they would slow down. They don't do that anymore.
No, they've,
I stopped at the stop sign on Kensington a week ago on my way over to McGee for the veterans thing. And a guy pulled up behind me. I'm at the stop sign. He goes around me as I start to pull through the intersection and almost took the nose off my car and takes off to go farther up the street. I ended up pulling him over, And when I'm walking up to the car, he had his license and his registration in his hand. Didn't even look to see who it was stopping him, saw the lights, goes, "Yeah, you got me, go ahead, just give me the ticket." Just, that was the attitude, it was just like amazing, and I've been doing this a long time.
There also might be some cavalierness with the state, with the prosecutors, just plead not guilty, and maybe they're so overwhelmed, they're not even gonna prosecute at this point.
Yeah.
That might be a bit of that attitude.
Well, he got his ticket that night. too.
Yeah, he got his ticket, that's important.
He was
He got
not
his
happy.
ticket.
are they, this Farmington Ave is a state road too. Are they looking to replace along that and?
No.
It's just, no, I think that's what they mentioned.
They already did a lot of the
They just
intersections.
did Porter's Pass in Farmington.
In the
They
summer.
got taken down by that tree.
Oh,
The road
that's
was
right.
closed for that whole
That's right.
weekend
That's right.
because they had to take that big tree down.
Yeah.
So some of those lights have been replaced, but I don't, not
Yeah.
the infrastructure that controls it.
Okay.
thank you, guys.
Madam
Thank
Clerk,
you.
can I get your spellings on your last name for the recording secretary?
Oh, sure. Lemieux, and Gail is GALE.
Mine's FILI.
I'm sorry, FILI.
P as in Peter, E-K.
First name was Ronald, right?
Yep.
Okay, Ron.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
For coming.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I wasn't even close on that one.
Approval of minutes, we have the October 15th minutes to approve. Nobody have any questions or directions?
I just wanted to turn everyone's attention to the for October 15th, the stipulated discipline that we issued. I just want to make sure everyone's comfortable with that language. This is on page 1. At the bottom, motion to leave executive session. There was a motion stipulation for discipline. So I make sure everyone's comfortable with that. I have no problem with it. I just want to make sure that everyone else is okay with it.
Specific.
Right here, this paragraph, everybody, that's okay. Right here.
Oh, the bigger one.
Yeah.
I wasn't here, but I have no objection to it.
Yeah, so I make sure it's worded how everyone's okay with the wording.
Can we, does it make sense to, by agreeing to this action, vacate any additional findings for Sergeant Wool with regards to this action?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Where it's Sergeant Gould,
Regarding this incident,
Regarding this incident?
Fine.
Thank you.
good.
What are we?
So you see, there's actually, Madam Secretary, you see where there's 2 periods right there? Right there, where it says towards Sergeant Gould. What was-
Adding in with regards to this incident after Sergeant Gould. So it should read,
This investigation maybe, or?
Yeah. it would also make any additional findings towards Sergeant Gould with regards to this investigation.
Sure, sure. That's why I asked, because I just want to make sure that. It's kind of important.
And say by agreeing to this action would also vacate any additional findings towards Sergeant Gould in regards to this investigation. Sergeant Gould will verbally accept the compromise for the record.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good, fine.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for the October 15th, 2025 as amended.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
We have.
Mr. Chair, one thing I just want to make sure, there's two commissioners just started a new term. We're all good?
Did you get sworn in?
Yes, yes,
Commissioner Yaranaka?
I did on Monday.
thank you. Good.
Thank you very much for
For the record, that
Re-elect.
we're good.
congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, people.
Congratulations, Joe. All right, we have the minutes for September 17th, 2025 was previously tabled.
I don't have those minutes with me. Oh,
Yeah, it's two corrections I wanted to make.
we didn't get the minutes. They weren't in the packet.
Paragraph that says motion to go back into executive session.
All right, so we're going actually to the last page, right? So we're on,
It started with the motion and get back in executive session, 8:11.
yes,
On the last sentence, I would like it, Vice Chairman Zelik recuse himself from.
And why would we do that?
I did not get a verbal recusal.
I'm at a loss because I did review the tape, the Zoom meeting. And although you did not verbally recuse yourself, at the time that the commission was called back, Mr. Dyken was making a motion, he had stopped in the process of his motion to state to the chairperson that he had noticed that one of the commissioners was missing. And at that time, Chairman Rogan stated that you had recused yourself, that Commissioner Zelik had, Vice Chair Zelik had recused themselves. And that's how that ended up coming in. So I did go back to the tape and I did review it.
I did not give a verbal recusal.
Okay, but I
That's
can't,
correct.
Well, maybe we should ask the chair, Mr. Chair. So
That was done, as I recall, that was done inside of it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I remember, you're right, Madam Clerk. I don't know if I stopped at motion, but everything you said, I did say that. I was questioning why we were missing a commissioner. And Chairman Rogan said, Commissioner Zelik had recused himself. So, Mr. Chair, is there a reason why you said that? Can you explain that?
Because he left the room.
because I don't know what happened in executive.
And
session.
it's not appropriate to
Yeah,
discuss it.
it's not appropriate.
It wasn't done outside of the section.
Right.
Done inside of it,
Mhm.
which is not privy to the.
So I'm at an impasse as to what you would like to do. with this. Because
I can get
I
a
can
legal
only-
opinion if that's, the board would like. Should like.
I mean, I'm not understanding. So you didn't recuse?
Just walking out of the meeting is not a recuse. Has to be verbally
Well, that's,
stated.
I mean, it's hard to argue with that, but my point is, so you want it stated, you want the record corrected to reflect what Chairman with Madam Clerk just stated. Are you okay with that?
Restate what you said.
Well, she said, basically, I mean, when we came out of executive session, I stated that I noticed that a commissioner was missing. Chairman Rogan addressed my concern and said that Commissioner Zelik had recused himself. I think that's all that was said. So
I don't agree with
out
that.
of fairness to Commissioner Zelik, he disagrees with that. He was the one, I suppose, in the best position to know what he was doing. If he feels he didn't recuse himself. I mean, I don't know. I mean, are you comfortable with the minutes reflecting the exchange I had with Chairman Rogan?
Yeah, I'm okay with that, but not the part where he.
Well, no, I'm sorry. No,
The part I
that,
noticed I was missing.
I said I noticed you were missing, and then he acknowledged, well, I mean, you did state for the record that,
But is there a way to amend that?
well, I mean,
Because the fact is he left the meeting.
all right. Okay, so I mean, okay, you didn't recuse yourself is what you're saying. Okay, so I guess we just, we take your word for that, but you know, I just
agree on
don't,
that.
that might have to be taken up at a different time, that issue. So I don't know if anyone else has anything to say about this.
I have the same comment for the,
I mean, it's certainly not up to me or any of the commissioners to determine if or when you should recuse yourself. So, you know, I mean, frankly, we can deal with that issue that you just brought up at a different time, the issue of recusal.
But I think we're just clarifying the minutes right
And that's
now.
what I'm saying.
Yes.
I agree with you. I'm just saying it.
But the minutes are not what in fact happened.
Correct.
They're written as what the chairman stated. So can you add like, I'm not familiar with this, maybe you would know better. Can you add like an asterisk in there that stated he never verbally recused, he just left the meeting?
I mean, I'm okay with that because again, it's Commissioner Zelik he's in the position to say what he did and didn't do. I mean, he certainly didn't say anything on the record. And my feeling is if he's saying that, then if the issue of recusal comes up again, then I guess that could be addressed at that point. I'm trying to be fair to the process as well. I don't know what he was thinking at the time. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
I walked out, I was upset, but I did not keep myself on the record. Even in executive session, I ever thought.
So according to Robert's rules, the minutes are supposed to reflect factual actions taken. The factual action is not that Ryan recused himself.
I understand.
So that being said, I understand the minutes say
It says that Chairman Rogan,
Chairman Rogan said,
that he recused himself. But
here's where I struggle. If we put the asterisks saying Ryan didn't actually recuse himself, then what did?
Can we say take
Optics.
Rogan surmised? Perceived?
listen, I'm okay with,
Uncomfortable.
I'm comfortable with changing it to reflect what actually happened, because the minutes are supposed to be, we're creating a record of what actually happened.
Correct.
If that's not what happened, that's not what happened.
Correct.
It's possible, however, the issue of recusal may come up at some other point. But that's for
future
the
issue.
Commissioner Zelik to determine himself. It's not up to us to determine whether he should recuse himself.
Well, it should state the fact that you got up.
Oh,
Which I'm fine
absolutely,
with. Oh, yeah, of
absolutely.
course. No, I don't disagree with that fact.
I think we all need to be fair to the process.
Correct. And
So, you know. it-
I
it
also
is
want to
what
be
it
fair to
is.
Dave and optics, like you were under the impression he did. But he didn't in fact, and I want to make sure, I understand. But I want to make sure it doesn't look like you're giving false information. Your assumption was that he recused himself, but that was the assumption when Ryan in fact didn't.
I mean, it's hard to understand why someone this is not personal towards you, Commissioner Zelik. It's just hard to understand how someone could walk out of the room and not be recusing themselves. But I mean, again, we're trying to be fair to you, Ryan. I mean, I don't want to, I think we all want to be fair.
I did not recuse myself on the record.
What's the point? Why do you care?
I care. It's my record.
I care.
My name's on it.
Well, we want also,
We want to reflect what really happened. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, it is up to the commission. It's up to each of one of us to determine whether we recuse ourselves or not. We can't direct each other to
But
recuse each other.
Well, I think we're getting caught up in the conversation of recusal when the real focus is how Ryan left the meeting.
No,
And maybe the minutes should reflect that Ryan left the meeting. And the
Well,
comment,
so-
we remove the comment about recusal because at that point that was an assumption. And we just take that out and that's a future issue.
Well,
That would be my
And
proposal.
that's, and I understand what you're saying. And the consequence of that, of course, is that that's what the minutes are going to say that he left,
Which is a fact.
Yeah.
which is a fact. All right.
So what are we're striking that statement, but what am I replacing?
Commissioner Zeller chose to leave. Reasons undetermined. How's that?
I think that's fair.
I'm good with it. And it's the same in a couple paragraphs later.
Okay.
Paragraph that starts with Commissioner Dyken made a motion. Same thing, the last sentence there had the same.
Made a motion. Can you read the whole thing?
Commissioner Dyken made a motion to appoint outside independent investigator. That was just the first, which paragraph started.
Oh, and there's a reference there, because I don't have it in front of me. There's a reference.
Second reference saying.
Okay, it says Vice Mayor recused himself and was not present.
Yeah, so I want the same, to say the same thing.
All right, and you want it to reflect that, right? Vice Chairman Zelik left the meeting. And what's the other part of the statement?
For reasons undetermined.
For reasons. Reasons.
It works. Unknown works.
And we'll replace that in twice.
Both
Okay.
places.
All right.
And this is why I think we tabled this matter last time, because we wanted the vice chair here to address this directly, because there was a letter that was submitted, but I think
Yeah,
we all
some
needed
of
to.
it's approved. No.
Yeah, oh, no, and we obviously, you know, it was the right thing to table it, so you could be here to
I appreciate
address the
it.
concerns.
Thank you.
Yeah, so.
Okay, we all set? Any motions here?
With the corrections.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Commissioner Erd.
Oh, shoot. I didn't hear her, I'm sorry.
All right, so that takes care of that. Moving on to any correspondence, Chief?
No,
Right, good, good. Moving on, old business, we have any old business?
not outside of executive session. No.
Old business, new business. We have any new business?
Well, new business came since the report went out. So, yeah, I got a couple things. I'm giving each of you a thumb drive. On the thumb drive is general orders for the police department. As you, review your charge as commissioners, you will see it says that you are, charged with policy, setting policy. And in the very near future, we now have an investigation being conducted by a third party law firm. When you review the general orders, I would tell you to go to 52.1.1, which is the internal affairs section that talks about how to conduct and who conducts the outside agency investigation. And I would venture that probably none of you have ever read that. And I don't think you two did, because I know that since I've been here, I don't believe any commissioners ever sat down and said, let me look at the general orders of the police department. So I will point your attention to that, because in there it states that an outside investigation should also be going through the chief's office, which it currently is not going through the chief's office. And we are being reviewed supposedly for policy violations, and maybe looking at strengthening general orders or changing our orders. And it would be very helpful if the commissioners, when they're making decisions, look back at the policies of the police department, the general orders. We are an accredited agency. And so that's just one thing I think that's important. When you read all of our general orders, you're going to be surprised. They're pretty lengthy, but there's a lot of information in there. And you're going to need these general orders, because when we go to executive session, I'm going to be dumping some stuff on you as a board tonight, some commission stuff that you're going to have to handle. So it would only be fair that you know the general orders. So I put them on a thumb drive and read them at your leisure.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief.
I also have
Chief, real quick, while we're at it, would you be able to put onto a thumb drive the union contracts as well? I still haven't received the union contracts.
Oh, I can afford it. Thought I
Yeah,
could.
but you got it. Somebody.
He doesn't.
He doesn't get the PD email. We all, you did email it to us. in
I
February.
did.
Yeah, I thought you got it on the thumb
I
drive
had a
last,
hard copy
last
for
week.
you that I brought. No, I
Oh,
brought a hard copy for him.
Right, we're gonna do it right now.
I had a hard copy for you one meeting and for some reason.
Oh,
you
wait,
didn't
he
make that
wasn't at the meeting, you had it, that's right, you weren't at the last.
The
And
rest
then
of
I
us
must have
have.
taken it
Yeah.
out of my folder
Yeah,
after.
cause I know there was one put aside.
I blame you.
I forgot to bring it back up again.
Yeah, I'll have it now.
Yeah, you need that too. Okay. And
Do that
then,
too.
I am sure at some point tonight, we're gonna be talking about the budget. So let me give you each a copy of the final budget. That's gonna come up later on, but you didn't get it because, it didn't make the packet.
Uniforms were brought down in this one.
Yes.
Yeah, when they sent it down here, there's a couple typos. They sent another
Oh,
one
yeah.
down that was way inflated that we
Yeah.
corrected, but I hadn't even noticed.
So I'm sure we're gonna talk about that in another items. I think that was what I had for, new business, other than we have to go to executive session.
Yep.
The radios are all 100% now.
Oh, yeah, great. I mean, I'm all over the state. I hear our radio calls on the Massachusetts line, the New York line, no problem, like it's happening right next to me.
Cool.
Which we didn't have that luxury before, so it's great.
Get the shit off the.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah, because it's been on there
It's
for
been on the
like a
agenda
year.
for like years.
So we're all set with new business?
Unless you guys have something that you want to bring to the table, right? It's a regular meeting.
Well,
Any other commissioners?
Middletown Road, but that's been
Well,
discussed quite a
I
bit.
saw
So
it all
we're-
over social
One of
media.
the
Yeah.
biggest culprits is the DNL towing. They went through a red light the other day with towing a car. I mean, I'm glad I was looking.
I do watch a lot of people though at the red lights and that go into the turnpike counting.
Oh, yeah, I have to stop.
I think a lot of people,
No.
but it's, we shouldn't have to. So
Yeah.
when they're
No.
gonna sync them up.
Yeah.
So that there's mutual reds, maybe that will help some of the,
Aren't
Get the
those
four-way
commercial
rhythm.
cameras, is that a common kind of deal?
Yeah, so Middletown's doing it and Washington.
Right.
And they keep repeating the same stories, Hearst Media Group, about how they're bringing in millions of dollars and all. What they're not telling you in their reporting is that, and Drew was very politically correct before when he was talking about they got to do the study to make sure that a disproportionate number of minorities do not get stopped in your community. I can tell you it's not out yet, but I just got the draft of Ken Barone's annual report on disparity on motor vehicle stops. He changed 3 ways that he adjusted 3 different ways that they're looking at stats and added about a dozen other agencies as being disparate in our motor vehicle stops. And once again, Berlin's in there. We're in there every year. And it's really unfair because I've talked to him. It's unfair because he knows that the population we're stopping is transient. But we don't have the percentage, the minority percentage in the community to offset. We're making stops. Nobody's looking to see what color anybody is. But what's happening is the numbers are just higher than our population percentage. And they sent that thing out this past week to all the chiefs of police, and the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association already has some people looking into it because it seems like every time these reports come out, the numbers of disparate treatment keep rising. But we also know, our department not included, and I don't believe the state police is on this list, but many agencies, their number of motor vehicle stops have gone down. Ours were pretty aggressive, so ours are up. But other places have gone down because they're trying to get out from under that look that, there's disparate treatment and who's getting stopped and who's getting charged. So, but that report is not going to be released until after January 1st publicly, supposedly. Last year, they said the same thing and then they released it right before Christmas. And we got a bunch of news coverage. You
What is
guys
the-
took a hit on that too last year.
what is the ratio between transient, let's say people going from New Britain to Middletown versus people who are pulled over who are residents of Berlin? I mean, it's probably, 2 to 1. I mean, is it really probably a significant, how significant is the transient,
So really the crux of
being
the
pulled
issue
over.
Yeah,
is,
that's gonna be.
and we had them come down here years ago
Okay.
when they also said, and we were biased in some way. And we showed them how we do our enforcement and why we do it and why we do it, where we do it, which is basically our high crime, high traffic, high crash areas. All of those areas are high transient areas like the Berlin Turnpike, so on and so forth. And that population is not gonna match the demographic of the town of Berlin because all those folks are just passing through. And they agreed with us and they changed it. But since then, they keep listing us on this report. And then the chief tried to contact Mr. Brown a bunch of times last time to have him come down again, and he never.
After my
came
fourth
down, so
conversation where I
kinda
wanted him
giving
to actually
up
come
on
down,
trying
with the
to
stats, we had them all
show that.
packed and ready to go. He goes, oh yeah, you guys always have the same problem, and he never showed up.
So is it
But-
more transient commuters are getting pulled over who are out of town on the Berlin Turnpike? I mean, is that the case? I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I'm not, like you're saying the Berlin Turnpike, I'm not even saying the Berlin Turnpike, because it could be the Chamberlain Highway. It could
Right.
be Southington Road coming in from Southington the back way when traffic's, in the morning when things happen. When 691's closed, we see a heavier increase of traffic coming to our residential neighborhoods. And because we have 372, 515, 691, close to 91, Route 9,
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that I don't know how we would get that figure to see what the percentage is.
Well, I mean, we obviously know who the
Right.
vehicles
Yeah,
are
we don't-
registered.
It
So my
goes
point
it
is,
goes on the stat sheet. It's probably
Yeah.
99% of the people we stop on these areas, the high crime, high crash areas are from out of town.
I'm just trying to find a way to, to communicate to the state agency how absurd that finding really is, I
There's
mean,
a lot of people trying to do that.
and listen, I actually know Ken, he's a smart guy, I
Yeah.
think he wants to do the right thing. But yeah, no, it is a little frustrating to hear
And
that,
he-
for sure.
Wants to keep his job, so
Yeah,
you
Absolutely.
gotta keep them
Totally
stats,
understand,
right?
totally
So
understand.
he changed, like he's using a solar. His system, I read it yesterday. I sent it to the command staff. I started looking at it a little bit again today. There's a lot of stats, but it's also the way he's doing it changed. All of a sudden, agencies that never had this problem will have this problem again.
Right.
Again, so it's tough. And I don't know, it sounded like, because we got it sent to us from CPCA that they're gonna try and address this in an official matter for all the agencies. Because nobody wants to be on the list.
It just doesn't seem fair to me, I mean, just objectively.
All right, we're all set with new business?
Yeah.
Let's move on to the chief's monthly report.
A lot of stuff, things in the monthly report. I put all good stuff this month. Let's see. Talked about our relationship now that I fostered with the state of Connecticut and the country of Brazil.
Right.
Begrudgingly. But actually, it worked out good. The sad thing is, while I was writing this report, I met a bunch of people from their law enforcement, and 2 of them have since been killed by narco terrorists. Very sad. Yeah, and one of them I was with every day in Denver, so I was pretty upset about that. I talked about this, I made this soldier for the Berlin Equity Action Team, the Historical Society, and the news picked it up, and NBC Connecticut next week is gonna be doing a news story. I'll be at the Historical Society with some of the people from the Historical Society talking about this, they're trying to get some recognition for the African-American soldiers from the Civil War, that, they're trying to do that. The 2 people in public tonight talking about the traffic. I was here, what was it, 2 Saturdays ago, right? For the, on the 8th, I went out with the cadets, with the Lions Club to put out 10,000 luminaries. And myself and Officer Pinto, the RSRO,
People did a picture, I saw that.
it was huge. It's huge.
It
Um,
went all the way up and down.
Yeah.
On
and it goes to all the monuments.
Unbelievable.
And
Beautiful.
it
It looks
is.
amazing.
And they went back to real candles this year from last year, using those ones that you get at the Dollar Tree to put the lights on because they weren't bright enough. So some of the bags caught on fire, but they put them out quick. The traffic was just unfair to us. I mean, I have my car lit up. We had Mark Cruiser behind. We're using a trailer, a truck. We've got Lions members, you've got your upbeat kids, you had our cadets, anybody they can get that are volunteer groups, trying to put these things out as fast as we can. And it was a beautiful day. It was a little cool, but it was a beautiful day. People just didn't care. They're driving around us. They were just all over the place. And I think what happened is a lot of people want to come out and see them, but this was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They weren't even
Oh, no, I
lit
saw
up
this
yet.
after dark. It was
Yeah.
nice out.
Yeah, so I definitely empathize with our complaints tonight. There's no doubt about that. And then, so we did that. Our annual football game was played over at Sage Park that night. And you could see it was really a rout for one team over the other. It's a lot of fun. It's good for morale. And this year, Sergeant Gould did not get injured, so he was pretty excited about that. And then it was after I left the game that I went and actually took those pictures that you see of the luminaries, and I posted them. I think this town, and I'm saying this for the record, the veterans people, the Veterans Commission, the veterans in this town do a phenomenal job. From the school, having a program over at McGee, we were out on Veterans Day and it was cold and windy. Our honor guard was out. It was tough, but we had a huge turnout in Veterans Memorial Park. No other towns nobody has that in Connecticut. It's just tremendous here, and they do a phenomenal job with that. So I think it's important. And I said it publicly, and I want to be out there that it's one of the highlights of my year here is a veteran too. So, and then everything else is just, we did our award ceremony. You've got a copy of the booklet I made in your folder. Yeah. Our cadets won some awards at the Cadet Tactical Challenge, and I listed the recipients of awards on this report, but the booklet has all the information.
I want to give you a lot of kudos, Chief, because this report, like, I know not all the reports are as positive as this one to write, but I really want to give you a lot of credit for the ways that you've built connection within the community. You've encouraged the department to engage in the community and offer them more opportunities to engage and be active contributing members of the community. And you've really done a great job at strengthening morale. So
Thank you.
huge kudos to you. And I think this is just a culmination of all the great work. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'd like to bring something to the commission's attention. It has to deal with the second page here. Page 207. And I know that we have a lot, it says safeguarding democratic process of maintaining public safety during the holidays. That's a bullet point right there. What I would like to see next year is I would like to see the Halloween businesses do on Saturday, where the kids and the families, we have no real presence there. So what I would suggest, we have 2 e-bikes. We could have officers on e-bikes. We could have a cruiser maybe in front of the market, Kensington Market, at that intersection, just to, there were people that were impatient and didn't want to wait for the families to cross the road, and they were going up the opposite, darting through the traffic light just so, because it was, so just something that I think what's happening was good intentions really taken on a life of its own. It's starting to get to be similar to the Memorial Day parade at that level. Maybe we can address that next year and whoever sponsors us.
Yeah, I
Deal with that.
was told it was a really big turnout this year.
Huge.
Yeah,
Huge.
they did not notify the department, and probably part of it was that Megan Musanti really is on top of all this stuff, but she had her baby and nobody really was aware that it was the small business trick or treat.
Yeah,
event.
Yeah, but it wasn't a small event. I mean, there was a lot of street crossing, Steel Boulevard going across the street to Ronnie's Automotive, a ton of people in the street at all times. I mean, certainly people try to be careful, but it's kids and
I saw
everything.
a couple of guys, but then they got the calls and they took off.
Because they're on
I
patrol.
saw one
yeah.
cruiser, but that's not what they were out there.
They were
Yeah.
just talking.
And even if I don't know who organized that, we'll have to find out, but I think it's the businesses, right?
yeah, it's the businesses that only,
Because let's
Like
say,
Chris
if they
Edge?
said, hey,
Chris,
if
I
they said
think
they
that-
wanted cops, they would get the waiver and we'd be able to put officers out there, like we would have known.
Well,
I'm trying to think if we got
let's
notice.
address it.
Yeah.
Maybe Chris Edge.
I think check in with Chris Edge, because I
Yeah.
think he coordinated with the small businesses.
Yeah, I know that
with
they
the
didn't think it
dates.
was gonna be as big as it was, I know that. Just
And
some of the
past
stores
years it
ran
has
out, they ran out of candy and all, people were showing up, I heard some of those complaints. Just this year, it just seemed like in some places Halloween was a big deal, and in some places it was non-existent. And,
Look at Halloween night, you had high winds and everything
yeah,
else.
there was nobody out, so.
All right, well,
It's changed a lot.
Okay, Chief's monthly report, we're all set. Anybody, any commissioners have anything they'd like to add?
No, sir.
Okay, moving on. Okay, we're gonna go
Your
to,
house.
review the reports for patrol operation division, Lieutenant Martin, would you like to know?
There's nothing that stands out in this month's report. Motor vehicle stops are up a little bit from last month. Last month was a slow month because of the Berlin Fair and all the stuff going on in town. It's typically in September. They are up this month. They're going to probably level off now that we're getting cold. They're less stressed.
Just a couple things. I didn't see in here the breakdown of activity by officer. I didn't see that in there. Probably just overlooking it.
See that either.
But just for next month, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it wasn't.
And then I just want to put on the record, just to accentuate a very solid point, and I think a decision that was very, very good by the PD and the commission to institute flock. On October 29th, flock ended up being utilized to arrest someone for a felony warrant for burglary larceny that, otherwise might not have been caught, and someone would have traversed our town, particularly someone we don't necessarily want in our town. So I just want to commend, everybody here for supporting flock, specifically the chief and the department for pursuing it, and then most specifically for the PD actually utilizing it and making it an asset. So thank you, guys.
I don't know if you saw it or not, but Channel 8 came in and I did an interview with them, myself and Lieutenant Solik. And we cleared up a lot of misconceptions, and they did a really good, a clip that was on the news that night on Channel 8.
Yeah, the mid-state chief at the mid-state meeting last Wednesday were saying that, the deputy chief and Lieutenant Solik's press conference with WTNH made a big difference because they were getting a lot of complaints too. And after they were on the news, we're so transparent. We put dashboards on our website best, but our
Yeah.
dashboards on it, people can see it. Even yesterday, yesterday? No, it was this morning at the top managers meeting, we talked about the misconceptions, and all, even to the people that work in town hall and all, because a lot of people are thinking, well, these are traffic lights, or these, this is what we're doing. But
But
we've
even
been putting
like,
this information out for over a month now.
but even like the accountability aspect where Lieutenant Solik does his monthly checks to ensure that it's appropriate reasons, citations for what they're for. I just think that bolsters the accountability and the transparency and the fact that it's not being used for inappropriate purposes,
All
so,
investigative.
yeah, that's it.
And it helped find that guy too, right? Mr. Mercer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was
Was
missing
last
from the shoreline. He got all the way up here. He was driving around for 2 days.
Example of it.
Yeah.
Once again, kudos to the PD.
As far as the MVP stop stack, I didn't notice that I put the wrong one on there until you just told me. It was unintentional.
Very astute. Sometimes.
I have a request if it's possible. I noticed that we have the calendar for shooting at Narragansett. It is for the current month, which this being the 19th, it really doesn't tell us what's gonna happen in the month of December, is it possible?
You want me to go a month further out? September should slow way down.
Should think. Any commissioners have any other questions? Nope. No, all good. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, the investigative division, Lieutenant Soul, seeing as your present, is there anything you'd like to comment on?
Yeah, a couple of things on my report. We had a serious assault that time off that our detectives are following up on cases of over due to the nature of injuries. So that's an ongoing investigation. We had the missing person, we touched on that. They didn't have a before last month anyway, but it was in October. The missing person that is found using a clock. We had, just because it was, we had a couple actually this month. Attendant deaths. We investigated one at a motel. The OCME came out to investigate. Gentleman that didn't talk with people very frequently and had been there, deceased for some time. Yeah, we determined that was natural causes. That he had a self-inflicted gunshot wound. I think that was actually November, so it's not in your paperwork, but that was on local news. So that
was on Veterans Day.
investigated by the OCME.
Was that in the
The one in
woods?
Berlin does.
Yeah, it was out in the woods.
Yeah.
Behind the house.
It was behind the house.
That's post office stuff.
Yeah, she was looking at the,
We also had a purse stolen from a vehicle parked at Pistol Creek. Credit cards, so we're tracking the use of those credit cards throughout the state. And Griffith's working on that. And we had a
Question on that,
Sorry?
question on the,
Yep.
on that first snatching. Apparently, she must have known right away. She never called and froze her cards, anything.
I believe she did. There may have been some cards that she didn't know she had.
She
in
didn't know
there,
she
or- Actually, I think it might have been that her driver's license was in there. Someone actually took the license and checks for the cards and tried to the actual bank. Use her license as a she or her. It's a good thing because now we have.
Oh, yeah.
Leads.
So with that kind of information, can she reverse, she's not liable for the
The
charges?
bank's always covered fraud. So the bank assumes victim status in those cases, but I believe there was no loss that bank actually wants us to.
Right.
Banks typically have a threshold.
They take a loss.
They take the
And
loss.
It's not worth investigating under a certain dollar amount. That's a moving target based on the
Oh,
bank.
I see. So it wasn't enough money involved to,
This one, I
No,
believe.
no, they
There
want
is
to
this one.
investigate it.
yeah, this one, the bank.
Many times the bank.
It's unusual.
Loss, and they won't bother to provide information to us to further our investigation because it's not worth it.
So no one even contacts the police.
And then if suspect gets away.
Right.
But in this case. it worked.
Yeah.
oh, good.
That's why I say. We also have burglary at Timberland Golf Course. Entry was made via a broken window, several bottles of liquor were stolen. I believe that this occurred in several communities at different golf courses around the state as well, so working with other agencies on suspects in that case. That's go ahead for kind of new updates there. You have your monthly audit that speaks for itself. That was in there. 24 for health funds, using the clock for the last month. Try not to cover it in November, so those would be next. Over 29th, Commissioner Jim brought up. Health, PRs. We also, something that kind of doesn't show up in stats, but our LPRs showed vehicle being towed by DNL into town that was showing as a file one. About the same time, Meriden was taking a report that that vehicle was stolen. But in fact, it wasn't, so saved Meriden a lot of work. Cleared that up in real time versus someone thinking.
Be told.
Usually it's parking stuff if it's DNL. They
Yeah.
snatch them out of parking lots.
I think it was October 20th, I showed. We had a vehicle showed plate on Missouri, that may be one of the plates, but one of our officers had attempted to stop a vehicle for motor vehicle violations on the turnpike. Several times, and every time we tried to stop this same vehicle, it engaged him in pursuit. So I think it was on a midnight shift that they kind of determined, oh, sometimes it comes through at this time, so they were in the area. We got an LPR hit. The same car was coming through. Officers were able to position themselves in a manner to safely be in position to stop stick that car. If it did attempt to take off, which it did, and stop sticks were safely thrown. They got flat tires, they pulled over, and they were arrested. So it's a very safe outcome.
That's
and
awesome.
Exactly what we.
Yes.
Cars are supposed to stop when they commit violations. Officers try to stop.
That brightens up my day. Thank you.
You don't mind the cost of the new stop sticks after?
No, no, I don't care if you use 10 stop sticks. Yes.
The once and done.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
pretty
spikes
much.
come out and stuff.
You just gotta replace.
How about the situation with the BB gun on the Halloween night? How did that work out?
There were three.
I think Commissioner-
three individuals.
It's got the best information on that.
It was three individuals. They were working. Determination was that their claim was that they were trying to fool around with their friends, but it turns out the people they were shooting into were unknown to them, so it was,
Children.
yeah.
Children, yeah.
Children and people they did not know. They were arrested.
Good.
It was something that shoots a projectile that wouldn't harm anyone.
Like an
But
airsoft
the
kind of
alarm it caused.
It's supposed to be a water
is
thing.
Well justified.
Oh, the Orbeez
A
gun?
water pouch, yeah.
Yeah. But also use those in the pedicure machines for the girls. Just being honest, they do.
But
Same kind
again,
of pouch.
it's, you hit somebody in the eye with one of those things.
Yeah.
That- yeah.
Coming out of a gun.
They crashed into a mailbox and then they took off. Well,
We had 2 canines out doing.
Was supposed to be like a really, really happy time.
yeah.
Ended up in, my daughter, her friends hysterically crying, and it completely ruined the day. And thank God when they took off, when they ran over a mailbox uncontrolled, but there could have been a 6-year-old walking there, so thank God.
Yeah,
Next year, the whole neighborhood's
BPD.
not gonna wanna
I
congregate in
was
there.
gonna say, I hope that doesn't impact
Like
any
they
of the
should be
kids.
able
No,
to do.
my neighborhood's known to probably block it off, garbage cans. Allegedly. Allegedly, right?
Say, There's a lot that's happening here.
Yeah, I know, it's right.
Let's move on here. We have the juvenile detective Kevin Chafee report. Let's get their report on that packet. Any questions here from the commission?
Ding dong ditch, is that just ringing the bell and running?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy got a little ahead of himself.
Yeah.
All right.
On the face, was there a lot of damage caused to the sidewalk? Those kids, the kids weren't making wet
Oh,
marks.
yeah,
I'm assuming it was
yeah.
more than just putting their handprint.
Yeah, they had to,
Oh, yeah.
break up the
Talking
sidewalks and
huge-
redo it, block it out. The contract, yeah,
So
they're
it
getting,
wasn't just writing their names.
no,
Even that.
They rode right through them.
yeah.
They were still
Oh,
wet.
my
They
The
had to redo-
sidewalks have to be done.
Talking huge money.
I saw restitution and I'm like, that must have been lots of damage.
Yeah,
done.
Be lucky.
Homeowners
We
there.
requested restitution, but whether we get it or not. is-
Okay, let's move on to the position, please. We have
I can tell you from
the
experience.
Plaska
almost never gonna happen.
ALPR monthly audit.
But
We
you
did
just
that.
talked about that.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so moving on. We have support service.
Yep.
Division. Thomas Jones, any questions there?
Nope.
No.
Here I have Sergeant Anne Marie Haas is on the 3rd page, and questions there. Then we have Officer Megan Hussain. She looks like she's been busy. How's she doing?
She's out right now on, maternity.
She was able to still do this?
Yeah, she's doing some stuff from home.
So
Any
she's doing the
commissioners have any questions or concerns there?
No, sir.
Okay, some of the mileages we have. Yeah, takes care of that. Freedom of information law, any questions? It's a whole new system that we have.
Yes,
That's the person that we,
yes, she's
very nice.
working very well.
Awesome. So this is completely, you have, request ID, you have date and receipt, date and knowledge. Requester name, requester's type, subject to request, case number, BWC, and printer video. And 911 calls, photos, reports, status. Very nice. Any questions there?
Body worn camera, this person's able to handle, potentially a big influx in that. Cause I can tell you in New Britain, it's just 24, it's just nonstop. The
Well,
request.
she's still
That's one of the
learning
reasons
it.
we needed them.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so out of
So
control at this
much.
point. You almost need a whole division for it. I mean, it's just
Oh,
getting
yeah,
crazy.
it's because there's a lot of fishing expeditions.
Yeah,
She's been trained in all that redaction, the whole bit.
Yeah,
So she's handling all that stuff now.
awesome.
Even we're gonna transition once we figure out how much time, extra time she has. She's a real go-getter. She wants to fill up her days.
Good.
So we'll probably take the administrative officer who has to send all the video to court every time an arrest is made and have her do that as well. So-
Yeah.
So,
One of the other things we like want to touch on is you do have, a budget here, it looks like we'll have 61.1% left remaining. So the end of June, next year. That's right.
yeah, if you do the math, we are behind.
we're behind.
We should be
There's
at
no,
66.
there's no two ways about it. We're behind. I mean, not drastically behind, but we've taken some hits to our budget. We'll talk about
Yeah.
one of those hits.
Executive session.
But with 100 grand taken off it, I mean, we always knew it was, if we made it, it was gonna be razor thin.
Mhm.
So I think we're gonna be close. We're gonna be close enough that we can still cover it with extra
We
salary.
want to deal with this final provision with the general fund budget. We're 26.7 at this point. Want to talk about that?
Well, that's your review.
We don't have an agenda item for that
No.
right now, so we just.
So, but you don't want to digest it.
That's, I'm not ready to talk about it at all. Yeah.
The following.
Yep, I appreciate that.
Right, so we have Berlin Public Schools.
I'm sorry, if I can just interrupt for 1 second.
Sure.
This needs to be submitted by the 26th. So if you have any comments, concerns, questions, feel free to send those in and I'll answer any questions you have. But this is pretty much what we have for a final budget. I attended a capital budget today and it looks like they're going to be pretty favorable about giving us the 5 cars we're asking for because we needed the 2 K9 cars replaced this year. So there's a little bit of a hit there. And then 3 other cars
Are we gonna?
because
be
we're
going
falling
before the
behind.
finance
So
board?
what's that?
Do we have to go before the finance board like last year?
I don't know, but I
Well,
can tell you the
no, till
meeting
March.
that we had today, 3 members of the finance board were there. So they were getting information firsthand from both Jim Simons and myself as to our needs. And I talked to one of them after and he seemed pretty amenable that, okay, that's what you need. So, and they got a lot of extra funding from the money they got back from the high school project. Because the way they did the percentages was redone and they got like another $1 million from that. So, and that's probably a lot of money that they're gonna put towards a lot of these capital expenses like cars, and machinery and stuff that we need. It might cover a lot of that. So that's good news for the town as well.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Mhm.
Just for my own edification. For the overtime,
Mhm.
FY actual is 679, so we expended 679,000
Last year.
last year.
Yep.
But we only requested 550 for the media.
No, we requested 650. We gave up 50 because we were in an exchange with the finance board and they said, well, what can we do? What can you reasonably think we do? And we said, well, we understand that we have more staffing levels and we're probably gonna be a little better on overtime next year.
I
So
remember that.
we would feel comfortable with you taking 50,000 off that, but then they took another 50,000 off it, and we didn't know that. And I don't know, I think that was the town council actually that did that.
So the
we
department
ended up
requested should have been 600.
But they have the ability to reinstate that.
Yeah, but Commissioner Giannotto's
Well-
point is we requested 650. In reality, we really
We
requested
did. We
600.
requested
So it
650,
was- Yeah.
and then we gave up the 50,
And it-
so it went down to 600, and then
And then it took
another
another
50,000 was
But
taken
that's-
off.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
that's needs to be
percentage
corrected,
wise,
yeah.
the difference between 679 and 550 is pretty significant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, like that's not oh, can you give me a 5% cut? That's like
Yeah,
my
That's-
It's like
mental,
a fixed off.
this is
these
like
numbers here at the
15,
top,
20%. That's a lot.
so basically
Yeah,
these
that's
top
what-
two sections are controlled by finance, not by us. The only thing we
Yeah.
control here is uniforms, tuition reimbursement, and physicals. Everything else is assigned by finance. So we
Yeah.
don't put those numbers in there. They
I'm
put
not
those
quite sure
numbers.
what they were thinking. I mean, I know there's gonna be a savings, but 80,000 would be a fair savings.
Taking it to 600
To get to
versus.
600.
Right.
Right,
Okay, thank you for the explanation.
That's all we
That
can
additional
go.
50, we will.
yeah. I think we'll be able to cover it with salaries anyways, because we have the money for an additional person for the 47th person whom we haven't hired yet. We're right on the verge of hiring that person. They're just nearing the end of their backgrounds. So from the beginning of the fiscal year till now, that extra money is in the account. So it will probably cover any shortages we have on overtime anyways.
Yeah, because
Would be my guess.
in looking at the budget for the monthly report for the overtime expended, I think one of you guys brought it up, we're at 61%.
Right.
So we're
If you
having
do the
another,
math, we're a little, we're. a few
yeah, we're having
percentage-
another year
we're a
where
few
it's probably
percent
gonna be
behind.
higher than 550. You know, it's
No, that's 61%
remaining,
And we should, we were saying on.
But we should
Yeah,
have
yeah,
66, yeah, you're right, yeah.
which isn't
So we're a little under.
horrible, but
Mhm.
you know, the trajectory doesn't pan in favor. Okay, thank you, Chief.
All right, moving on, we have Berlin Public Schools. Very brief thing that reads, dear people of the Valley, would like to extend our sincere appreciation for Sergeant Ryan Gould. Training expertise in our transition to new sidearms with optics. His two-day firearms training program was well planned and a very efficient use of time. The exercises were based on a very sound building block approach that built our confidence in the use of new sighting optics that we now deploy. This valuable training is another enhancement to our school security efforts. Thank you for your continued support in improving safety and security in our school communities. Sincerely, John G. Schmaltz.
Yes, that's right.
I just thought I'd read
They're
that.
the same
Very
nine that
nice.
we have here.
Kudos. to,
Yeah.
Yeah, they went to the same weapons we're carrying.
Kudos to Sergeant Gould. That was a good job there. Any commissions have any other concerns here? No, sir. We do have a post. Police cadets, you're gonna really have to request that. It looks like there's a really active.
Kudos to the work they've been doing, engaging the community. Between the trunk or treat.
The Climate Forest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Park did.
Yep. Looks like he's been very active and very helpful in the police cadet program.
Yes.
Very nice. All right, we're all set to move on to executive session if necessary.
Yeah, it's not bad.
We need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make the motion to go into executive session to discuss employment matters, personnel matters, inviting in the commission, chief, deputy chief, and the lieutenants.
A second,
Second.
all in favor?